I am the daughter of twins. Doris gave me life and raised me, and Minerva, her twin sister, adopted me many years after my mother died. When I was 64, Minerva was 91. The twins identified strongly with each other their whole lives, even dressed alike well into their teens. They didn't look alike or sound alike, but they said a lot of the same things. Because Doris was the more mellow of the two, when Minerva spoke, it was like having an actor with a bad attitude read my mother's lines. Doris married first and had a baby, my brother Sam. Then Minerva married and gave birth to David. The score was even, but not for long. When the doctor told Minerva she couldn't have more children, she became resentful, not toward my mother for outbirthing her by having a daughter, but toward me for being that daughter. She never liked me, and the feeling was mutual. A few weeks after my mother died at age 79, Minerva's 53-year-old son died of a stroke. With the loss of the two most important people in her life, my aunt was crushed. I was grieving as well, but concerned that with the death of her son, Minerva had no reach into the future. It was clear that without my help, she would be utterly alone. I set aside my bad feelings and became Minerva's caretaker. For over a decade, I traveled regularly from my home in the Hudson Valley to attend to my aunt in northern New Jersey. 12 years later, out of the blue, Minerva called to tell me she wanted to adopt me. I was to meet her and her Alan, her lawyer, at the courthouse in Hackensack. When I asked why, she said, "It's Alan's idea," as if that was explanation enough. In yet another attempt to please my cantankerous aunt, and with my lawyer's advice that I had nothing to lose, I agreed to the adoption. After all, I was already taking on the duties of a flesh and blood daughter, and with my new status, I was ensured access to her if in failing health she was hospitalized. The adoption was straightforward and unsentimental, the formalities concise, and the judge cordial. As we left the judge's chambers, Alan, by way of celebration, said to Minerva, "Now you have a daughter." As negative as ever, Minerva replied, "But she won't listen to me." She never divulged what it was I wasn't listening to, or for that matter, the reason for the adoption. Admirably active into her 90s, Minerva swam at the Y and continued to drive until she made an unfortunate left turn into oncoming traffic, totaling her car and her confidence. After that, I drove her everywhere she needed to go. One day, when I arrived, she excitedly showed me a silky scarf she had painstakingly adorned with long fringe that floated gracefully as she pretended to twirl around the room. The gift of creativity had momentarily awakened in her a long dormant girlish glee. It was a privilege for me to glimpse what had been. Minerva was an unusual combination of generosity and meanness. She replaced my car when it broke down, propped up my finances when my freelance work hit a lull. At the same time, she continued to find fault with me. Only once near the end of her life did she say, "I don't know how I would manage without you." Unaccustomed to praise from her, I gratefully thanked her. "Well," she said, "if I'd known it meant so much to you, I would have told you sooner." She never mentioned it again. Minerva died in her 95th year on Valentine's Day, on the second day of the first vacation I'd taken in years. I flew back from Florida and made arrangements for my adopted mother.